Hello learners. In this session, I'm going to improvise on the UI as because on the top right, you saw in small text the text for the task to be appearing. Well, visually that was not appealing and it should be a bit more on the UI front that we should be working upon. In this session, what I'm going to try and do is how you can bit decorate the card so that you can put accurate icons for editing and also for deleting. In this entire session, my entire focus is going to be on the UI widget, wherein we are going to discuss a bit amount of most commonly used widgets that follow along into Flutter. In order to learn them, stay tuned and keep watching this video till the end. Let us see what UI improvements we can try and do into our to-do task item. Let's say this is the task description. To the left side of it, I'll put an icon. When you tap on this icon, you'll be able to edit the task. Followed by, on top right corner, I will be having a delete icon, which when you click, it will say, do you want to complete or do you want to delete this task? And then it will be removed from the list. Well, in this case, only for testing, what I also have done is added 3 hard-coded items into my list. Hence, the pending item count is showing up as 3. Now, if I try to run my entire app from the very beginning, you'll be able to notice 3 items on the display task list screen. Well, this is how it looks. Let's go over here and customize my item builder. I'll put over here in common widget a new Dart file as task item widget. So class task item widget extends a stateless widget, and I'll put the missing override. Next, over here we'll have the task name, and in the constructor we will mark this with required. Now what I'll try and do is try to decorate with the help of a card widget. Now the card widget will be having a child, and let me put something called as a row. So in this row, first I'll be having the edit icon. So let me use this edit icon and I'll try to increase the size to 30. Followed by, I'm going to keep a text in which I shall be having my task name, and I'll put the style, text style, with font size as 18. Now I'll use this task item widget over here, wherein in the task name I'll put current task. Let's see how does this particular thing look like. Well, my card kind of appears very short. Hence, what I'll try and do, firstly I'll try to wrap this inside a sized box, and I'll say the height is going to be close to around 80 pixels. Let's try with a hot reload And yes, now this looks a bit better. However, the icon is way too much small. At the beginning, let me add a bit amount of spacing. Next, what I'll do is put the item size or my icon size as double of what is being currently displayed, and then display the task name. Yes, well, that appears a bit bigger and a bit absurd, so I'll restrict it to 40. Yeah. Now, over here, in between the icon and the task name, let me try giving a bit amount of spacing. Well, what do you notice? This 40 can be increased to 50 in order to have a bit better UI. So what will now happen, let's say you add a longer task description, then this thing will fall over to the new line, and hence in order to fall over to new line, let me wrap it into an expanded. So if I now try to put a bit detailed grocery item list, one kg sugar and 5 kg rice. So let's try and see how does this particular item now appear on my card. Better let me do a hot restart, as because this task list is not going to do any notify listener, hence even if I change an item here, it wouldn't have been reflected into my display task screen. Yeah, what do you notice? Now it neatly goes to a new line. Now what I'm going to try and do is, in this, let me put one column widget. On the right side corner, that is alignment dot top right, what I'm going to try and do is put an icon, or preferably an icon button, on press, an icon in which I shall be having my icons dot delete and I'll try to have this size as 28 maybe, and I'll change the color to colors dot red. Well, it says bottom overflowed by 26 pixels, and let me increase this to 120 to see how does it look like. Well, this kind of looks ugly. So what I'll try and do is not to put in a column, and in fact I'll try to manage it with a stack, wherein I'm going to remove this align and instead replace it with a positioned. So I'll say on right side 10 pixels, and from top 10 pixels I'm going to show this particular icon. Well, now over here, what do you notice is this positioned icon is actually taking up the entire UI widget. In fact, what I notice is kind of spoiling the entire UI. Hence, what I'll try and do is first use my position dot fill and then fill the entire screen with my row. I'll take this and put as a topmost stack item. Now when I try to do a hot reload, you'll notice that this is neatly there on top right corner, and there is a lot of spacing that exists on the top and the bottom. Well, in this case, what I notice, the icon is superimposed on my text. In order to avoid this, what I'll try and do is have a bit amount of right side spacing for my expanded widget. Still, it goes and sticks to the top of the widget and it superimposes on my icon. Hence, I'll try to position it not from the right 10. In fact, let me reduce it to 4. And also from top 10, I shall be reducing this to top, or in fact not put the top at all. Yeah, this kind of is fitting onto the rightmost corner of my screen. Let me cut down on the card size and then try to do a hot restart. Well, this kind of looks clean according to me. What next I'm going to try and do is, if I add any more item, for example buying a pen, then it comes as a neat listing, and then I can put the tap event for this and this. Well, what I know, I added an icon button for this delete button. In same ways, let me also try and do that. If any part of my row will receive a tap event, then I'm going to make my item to go into the edit mode. So I'll say child and I'll put the entire row. Next, over here I'll put a logger utils, oh, what I understand is logger utils was part of my previous class, and over here I actually did not do the code for logger utils. Let's try quickly. Inside the code directory, create a new directory as utils, add a file as logger utils void log, and have two parameters, string tag and required string message. So it is going to use the Dart developer package. Now the developer package has got this log statement, and over here I can try to put which exactly is the class that's logging this. Now if I try, here I get the logger util suggestion and also my tag. Let me copy and paste this. Over here I'll see user wants to edit the item. I'll copy this, put it over here, and I'll mention user wants to delete the item. Let's try to run the app from the beginning and check whether this part works or not. So what I'm going to do is click on this particular card item. Now when I try to click on this, I get user wants to edit the item, and when I try to click on the delete, it says user wants to delete the item. Well, in this case, we were able to successfully implement the entire UI changes that we would want to have into our to-do app. Merely creating the UI won't solve the problem. In fact, we have to put action buttons and do some action so that your task is deleted, or at least you plan to do something else, then you can edit them. All this we are going to discuss in the next session, wherein in entire state management I'm going to take even more deeper to you and understand the concepts that we will be using for our to-do app. So stay tuned and keep learning with open minds.